Let's talk about optimism coming out of COVID, and I'd like to share with you 3 questions you can ask, and the answers that you decide are true will dramatically change the sort of impacts you can get for yourself and your business. You know, COVID affects us all in very unique ways, but one thing COVID has in common with us all is that it causes ants or automatic negative thoughts, and these sorts of questions can help you translate your ants into pets or positive expectancy thoughts. This approach came from the pioneering work done by Martin Seligman with learned optimism in that big body of work of positive psychology. And what Seligman suggested that we do to be optimists is to look at how we answer 3 key questions. Now, question number 1 is, well, how long will the impacts of these bad events last? And what we're looking for as optimists is to try and make them as temporary as we possibly can, because COVID doesn't come with built-in meaning. It's only got the meaning that we give it. So we're looking for reasons that are as temporary as possible. Now, we can convince ourselves that COVID's going to cause a long-term recession or even depression, or we can convince ourselves, like I'm convinced, and many of the companies and colleagues that I work with are convinced, that 2021 will be a surprisingly good year for us all, because we've all got this pent-up business that we want to get done that's been really harnessed through this COVID lockdown this year. The second question to ask is that what else will it affect? Well, we're trying to make the impacts as limited and as isolated as we possibly can, because it's easy to catastrophize and have like a negative domino effect, if you like. The COVID bad impacts in one area will affect others. So we're attempting to make those impacts as isolated and unique as we possibly can. Now, question number 3 is my favorite question, which is who or what is in control? Now, COVID, with a global pandemic, it's easy to think that it's being done to us. The virus is doing it to us, the economy is doing it to us, the government's doing it to us. But after all, we're in control of how we think. You have your thoughts, they don't have you. And when you focus on your thoughts and say, I've got control of these thoughts, I've got control of the questions I ask, I've got control of the meaning and sort of answers that I give, that gives you a lot more power, a lot more control, and a lot more resourceful way of thinking. Now, what sort of outcomes can you expect? Well, not surprisingly, after 20 years of research, there's a whole raft of really positive outcomes from this optimistic way of thinking. You'll be a lot more resilient, and we all need resilience in this environment. You'll be a lot more action orientated. You will sell more, because optimists sell more, they've got more bounce back, they can handle rejection a lot easier. You'll be a better, more effective leader, because people like to follow optimists. You'll also be a lot wealthier, because optimists are wealthier. You'll be a lot happier, because you get that self-respect of doing what you know you need to do when you need to do it, and also a lot healthier. I mean, there's a lot of great work around the biology of belief and how you can literally believe yourself to be better. Now, they're just some of the outcomes you can expect. Now, my personal experience in using these 3 questions is I came off a pretty serious cancer journey in 2019, which ended up in surgery in November. Well, last year I came back from surgery and cancer only to face business where 80% of my face-to-face consulting and training business had been cancelled. So I had to dig deep to get through the cancer with an optimistic way of thinking, and then dig deep again to really look at reconfiguring my business to be a more virtual business as opposed to a face-to-face business. So I can personally guarantee that these sorts of questions definitely help you focus your thinking in a much more optimistic way. And finally, I just like to wish you personally and your business all the very best optimistic outcomes for 2021 and beyond.